joining us today with his new book. Lucky Me is the CEO and founder of Klutch Sports, Rich Paul. Rich, welcome. I read the book last night.
Great.
I loved it, and I was trying to tell someone about it. Like, what's it about? And I kept on failing in a way to tell it. So I just wrote down everything that I think the book is, and then you can tell me what you think the book is. So I said, it's a personal memoir it's a book about a father's wisdom, the grips of addiction. It's about structural racism. It's about unconditional love. It's a business book. It's an advice book. It's about dressing for success. It's brimming with confidence and vulnerability. It's sad and it's uplifting. So that was my succinct way of describing the book.
So
how would you describe it? Well, I tried my best. I thought it was excellent.
The thing I would add to that, I would say it's a gift from me to everyone who can read a chapter, read a sentence, read multiple chapters, and share the experiences I had and align them with themselves. I think this book gives you direction, it gives you motivation, it gives you insight, it encourages you to continue to keep pushing. So when I came to the conclusion that I was going to write the book, along with Jesse Washington, I didn't want this to be a look what I did type of thing. And I don't want to give too much of the book away, but it's totally different than what people would expect it to be, for sure.
Rich, you talk, and I've known you for years and done stories on you, and you talked about the hustling in Cleveland, shooting dice, things like that. What did you learn from the streets when you were out there that you apply now as one of the top agents in sports?
What I learned being there is, there's no sugarcoating life. Life doesn't sugarcoat anything. And so what it allowed me to do is be ultra prepared for any and everything and however it came, because we didn't get an opportunity. There was no one to necessarily speak up for you. You had to speak up for yourself, and your actions, you were held accountable, from the smallest to the biggest. And now being in the position I am today, it allowed me to stay present, stay in the moment. I've never sat in my success, that. I mean, you talk all the time. But ultimately, I can never get complacent either, because it's not like when we walked outside, people weren't just clapping for you. They didn't say, oh, you have a nice, there was no flowers, right? It was the other way. It was more of the other way more than anything, because you got to remind yourself what everyone's going through. So it's not like a fairyland. It was totally different. This is now Disney World, what I'm in now. With a couple mean characters here and there, but ultimately it was everything about the book prepared me for my position today.
When you came in, or LeBron came into the league,
yeah,
it was a big thing to, for players to have entourages and all that stuff.
I always hated that word.
Yeah, I figured you ain't like that, and I apologize if that offended you. But what you, Maverick Carter, and Randy Mims, you guys sat down and said, we're not just going to hang out and kick it with LeBron. And you know what I mean? Like a lot of guys, it seems like most guys do. What made you guys, or when did you come to the realization, look, this is, with LeBron, let's take this opportunity and make the most out of it? And he obviously wanted to do that for you guys as well. What made you do it differently than just kicking it with your boy who's an NBA star?
Well, I think what's misleading is just because someone plays in the NBA, that doesn't make them a business. And so if you got guys around, realistically, it's going to be nothing for them to do. LeBron's first couple of years in the league, it was nothing really for us to do. Randy was the only one that really had a position. Obviously, Maverick was working at Nike. I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have a role, and he told me that. But I started to create things. I did the jobs that wasn't necessarily the shiny object jobs or the fun jobs, but I just did what made the team better. And that was my role when I played high school sports. I was a much better role player than I was never a star on my high school team. And so I wasn't uncomfortable being that role player until an opportunity or the swing actually came to me and I was able to make a shot. But I think what happens today is everyone says, oh, I want to do it like them. Well, it has to start with the talent. And there's no business there, right? Just because a guy is an athlete doesn't make him have something for you to do of significance. And then at the same time, you also have to be willing and wanting to do the things that may not be fun. You have to be willing to miss out. as you know, I missed out on a lot of things building a business despite what LeBron was doing, right? And so,
Are you surprised, there have been some, but are you surprised more people haven't followed? Listen, nobody can follow the great athlete blueprint except for great athletes. But people could attempt to follow the path you took, follow the path Mav took. Are you surprised that in the 20 years you've been in, or I guess 18 years you've been in the business, that there haven't been more people that's like, wow, that's the next Rich Paul?
No, I'm not surprised because most people only see the end result, and most people want to skip steps in the process, and you can't skip steps. This is not a let's get rich tomorrow thing. This is not a guy give me $500,000 or $1 million or $10 million. That's never happened. And so today, everyone around the athlete is more worried about their bag than the infrastructure of the athlete to position them better down the road, and therefore they can educate themselves and educate themselves together to make decisions as a team that ultimately best benefits the player first and you second. Guys aren't leading with that. Most guys are in competition with the player, they just don't know it. And most players can't seem to find a reason why they should, or the families around that player can't seem to find a reason why they should give this guy an opportunity to the level that we've gotten. And if they did, then what exactly are they doing? Because you got to remember, it's a business. So we had when we started the marketing business in 06, that business was making more money than it would have been if I was his representation. I didn't become his representation until 9 years later. And so, it could be very misleading,
You guys, I mean, LeBron and you are synonymous with the term player empowerment.
Yeah.
And people have written and talked about lately, Damian Lillard wants to go to Miami. He's in Milwaukee. James Harden wants out of Philly. He's still there. And they've said the era of player empowerment is over. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I can't say that the era of player empowerment is over because it's not empowerment, it's education. And so when you read the book, Lucky Me, that's what it's helping you. It's giving you an education to understand perspective. So what does that perspective looks like? Well, it's in the chapters, it's in everything from, and there's a rule to each chapter within the book to help you have a better understanding of just decision making, being able to see down the street and around the corner, how do I come back from something? And so when you talk about the player empowerment aspect of it, I think guys should have options, but it's all about your approach to how you do things. In the chapter where I talk about, iron your clothes, that detail, when my sister taught me how to iron and that precision that I iron clothes with, is no different than building that habit every day, that consistency. Your approach to your professionalism and your job helps you make that decision to acts of being traded or wanting to be out, have a different relationship with your GM to move on somewhere else.
All right, before you go, I just have two quick things I'm going to pull up because, listen, I'm not saying you've ever been sources behind any stories or anything, but I have a source close to Rich Paul that sent me this scouting report on you.
On me?
On you.
Wow.
He's a great, great shooter. Can make open threes with all-time great NBA shooters, but he can't dribble to save his life. But he can't dribble to save his life. Is that true or false?
That is true.
Okay.
But who cares if I'm playing my role on the team?
Okay.
Let somebody else dribble.
Didn't y'all win state?
Yeah, we won state.
Don't out my source. Who knows?
I know what your
source
is.
Close to Rich Paul. And then hold on. Lastly, before you go, this is very, very important because you have a unique perspective on this. What advice right now would you give Travis Kelce?
Well, here's the thing. Travis Kelce's from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have to give him any advice. We're born with it, so he knows what to do.
The book is called,
you right about
The
that.
book is Lucky Me.
Ohio in the house, baby. That's right.
The book
I've
is
been
called
saying that
Lucky
all
Me.
week.
He can
It's
read
out
Lucky
now.
Me. That's what he
It's
can do.
excellent. Thank you,
Travis,
Rich Paul.
read Lucky Me.
There you go. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rich. We'll be right back with Mahomes Mountain.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.